Hello, welcome. I'm hoping we've got some folks out there. Looks like we've got a few people have joined. Apologies for starting a minute late. Just getting things going over here. It's Thursday, and we all know it's one day closer to Friday. So I'm glad everyone is taking the time to join us. We'll wait a couple more minutes just to see if we have some additional attendees. But thanks again for joining, and we'll get started very soon. Hi, everybody. We're just waiting for a couple more people to join, and then we'll be ready to go. We will definitely start at 5 after. So thanks for holding tight with us. This should be a lot of fun today, and we'll get going in just a couple minutes. Thank you. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started. I, again, appreciate everyone coming together today. This is definitely going to be a fun webinar. We're going to just kind of talk a little bit about the rise of animations, specifically about GIFs or GIFs, depending how you want to pronounce it, and what we've been playing around with over here at RebelMouse, ways to use these kinds of images and animations in storytelling. I think it's no secret that we've seen a huge increase in the number of platforms that support these kinds of images, and it's really made it fun to use them in different ways. So just to kind of kick off little overview of what brought us here in the first place is that we've just really seen a big shift in how people are communicating. And I think a lot of it started with our ability to send images using our mobile phone. So think about when you first started sending text messages, and then you're like, oh wait, I can attach a photo, and oh, I can attach a video, and suddenly, instead of having to type out a really long message to somebody, you could literally just take a picture and send it and communicate so much more than again a few pieces of text. So I really attribute a lot of this to just human behavior, consumer behavior, what's been happening with image-based communications. And a lot of it also changed when everyone's mobile phone supported image-based messaging. So whether it was having apps on your phone like Instagram, or as we said, just taking a picture and texting it to someone, it really started to increase the ubiquity of storytelling with images. And then, like anything else, once brands and advertisers and companies started seeing people doing this, they immediately thought about, well, hey, how could we use this too? So we've kind of moved from the world of static images to what we're seeing now with animations, short videos, and more importantly, GIFs. I think the other kind of telling trend is how many platforms have been launched in the last couple of years to enable this kind of visual storytelling. So if you think about, maybe thinking about Instagram being one of the first apps that really gained traction that was based solely on photo sharing, we saw how that grew. Instagram became huge, and then this thing Pinterest came along, and people were trying to figure out, well, how would I use Pinterest? What's it for? And then suddenly you go to a Pinterest board, or a friend shares something with you. They're planning a dinner party, or they're talking about how to redecorate their kitchen, and suddenly the visual elements of the board just completely suck you in, and the interest is always a common one, right? So we're either looking at a board that has something that's been shared with us, or that we like someone else's board, and all of those things are image based. If you look at a Pinterest board, there's not a lot of copy going on, and the way that people use those kinds of pages is very much just visually scanning them, scan and scroll, and so visual storytelling has really transcended the snap and click, and actually turned to more of a curation method. I think Pinterest is a great example of that. Tumblr is another one that I think took off once people started moving past just the blogging platform, again, long form or short form blog copy, and started using it to share photos and videos. And again, you think about how Tumblr is designed. It's a very similar layout as you scan the visual images. Vine, I think, was one of the first forays into this short form video that mimics a GIF. And I remember when Vine was launched, a lot of people were comparing it to animated GIFs, and oh wow, this means we can make anything into an animation. And I think that was really the secret sauce to why Vine took off and has been so successful. Is you don't need to have special software to go out and make an animation. You can just do it at the touch of a button. And then, of course, our good friends over at Snapchat, some might say that Snapchat is the stepchild of chat roulette, but we've all seen how Snapchat has captured the imagination of so many people. And again, it's that short, simple way to send a message and communicate your story. We're even starting to see brands getting on Snapchat. 17 Magazine just announced yesterday that they're launching a Snapchat page or channel. Taco Bell was one of the first to really go out there big with Snapchat, using it to push messages about products or messages around campaigns to consumers. And then, of course, RebelMouse. I think a lot of people, when they first look at RebelMouse pages, are immediately struck by the visual components, and the fact that the way our platform pulls in, whether they're tweets or Facebook posts or any kind of third-party content, it immediately searches for the visual photo or image or video or something that's attached to that post. So it's a matter of not just presenting the copy associated with the content, but absolutely searching for the photo and presenting that front and center. So, we think about the evolution of visual storytelling and how we've gone from Instagram to Snapchat and now RebelMouse. I think it really boils down to people like to communicate in images. It's a way to tell a story and to get a point across. And you still leave a little bit open to the imagination of the end recipient of the image. So we've been having a lot of fun here at RebelMouse, and as I mentioned, we were really built for visual storytelling, and it's not just the real-time content angle, although I think that goes a long way to creating the context and the immediacy that draw people into the photography or the video. But I think more so, it's the fact that we support all kinds of image-based content. So you can build a RebelMouse page exclusively of Vine videos. You can build a RebelMouse page exclusively of images from Pinterest, or you can mix and match images from all these different platforms. So we've been really having a lot of success with publishers who want to tell stories visually. The example here is of an amazing page that was put together by Time Magazine for Veterans Day. And if you think about Veterans Day, a lot of it can be told through historical dates and why we do Veterans Day, but the real heart of it is the people. And so Time made the decision to put out a call for photos from their consumers, from their readers, and ask them to post a photo to your favorite social network, hashtag it Time Vets, And then they went through and looked at all the different photos that had been submitted, and they pulled them into this page that was embedded within the Time Magazine website. And as you can imagine, they got photos of the past. They've got photos of the present. They, had photos of active serving people in armed services. They had people, sending in photos of their great grandfather. So it really told the story of why we celebrate Veterans Day in this very, very visual way that didn't require a lot of copy, didn't require a lot of explanation. It was just very impactful and very focused on the visual elements. So I think that's a great example of visual storytelling and how RebelMouse is enabling it. I thought it'd be fun to go out and look at some examples online because there's so many great things that just come up every day. In this deck, which I'll share with you, there are the examples listed here, but we're just going to jump out to the web and start to look at some of them. Of course, we have to look at some from RebelMouse, and this is actually going to be a fun part of our second half of the webinars, is actually walking through how to set these up. But, when we started supporting animated GIFs in our posts, it was about the same time that we launched our list feature, so the ability to create a post using lists. And so it might just be the perfect storm. Lists and GIFs together could very well be the future of storytelling. So here's some examples, and hopefully you'll agree that this is a fun way to get your message across. So we did this super fun post the other day, 11 animals who are way more ready for the holidays than you. Again, very simple idea, fun idea for a list. Made even better with these visualizations. So the first animal who's more ready for the holidays as you is this little dog in his reindeer costume, which we have to admit, very cute. And you can see as we go down, there's just a different animations that are reflective of the topic. And this is an example of a post where the topic drove the search for images, but then obviously the images themselves drove the body of the post. So that's kind of, a tip that we wanted to offer up in this webinar is, there's lots of ways to get inspiration for how you use images in your storytelling. In some cases, it can be inspired by a topic that you need to communicate and you want to be able to use visuals to communicate. In other cases, it can be inspired by the visuals themselves. So this is an example of where the writer of this post was clearly inspired by the visuals. So you can see it's just a fun way to tell the story, a fun way to communicate the list, and I think everyone can get a chuckle out of pets. So that's one example. Another one that's a little more serious but still fun is one that we did around community management. So RebelMouse, as you know, is a platform that a lot of community managers use because they publish so much content on a regular basis. And, we always try to support them with ideas and with just, tips from our team because we're a team of community managers as well. So this was going to be a how-to post or a tips and tricks post. It could very easily have been written as a long-form blog post with bulleted items and very well thought out copy. But the author of this post decided, you know what, I'm gonna make it fun. Let's do it with GIFs. And she even, in her headline said, trying to get some real tenets of community management in GIF form, challenge accepted. So, to set the tone from the very beginning that this was going to be a fun but still educational post. So what she did is she obviously wrote her post in advance because there were specific things that she wanted to communicate. So in the example, the first item she wanted to communicate was that you have to listen to your community, and that really helps you figure out how to strategize. And so the topic of that particular item was listening. So obviously she went out and found this really fun Beyonce gift where she's, singing "Listen." And so that matched up really well. So this is an example of a post where the writer had clearly thought out in advance what she wanted her content to be, and then use that as the inspiration to go out and find the images to match up. So she put together this post. It's still communicating the very kind of educational how-tos that she wants to get across, but it's doing it in a short form manner. So as much as we know people aren't reading a lot on the internet, they love the visuals. So if we can combine those two to get the point across and maybe make people laugh or make them want to share the content, I think that's really what we're trying to accomplish. So clearly, the star of this post are these images, and so I think the more that brands and individuals realize the power of the images, that's when they start to reach out to the platforms that are so expert at getting these images across. We talked a little bit about Snapchat. I just wanted to share really quickly how Taco Bell's used it. They're clearly using it in a very brand awareness way. They want you to remember the brand, they want to make it fun, and they want to be noticed for the fact that they're using Snapchat. These are just some examples of things that they've done. So they're using it. I guess we should just say they're using it a lot the same ways that the consumers are. They aren't trying to break that mold. They're still sharing the image. They're making it fun and quirky and short form. And that's why it's resonating with the consumer. Another example of visual storytelling is something that we did recently. We launched this site called 6 Second Summit, and this is a site made up entirely of Vine videos. So you can see these are posts that have no copy with them whatsoever. They're Vine videos, and you can scroll and see the different videos that have been produced. And if you like the look of one, you click on it, and for 6 seconds you get to listen to the commentary in that particular post. So again, we're taking the idea of communicating something that you could write 3 and 4 paragraphs about, and we're turning it into something as simple as a 6-second Vine, and that's the post. That's how we're communicating that message. Another brand that we have a lot of heart for, who does this really well, is General Electric. They launched this really awesome program earlier this year called 6 Second Science Fair. And as you can tell by the topic or the title, it's also geared around vines. And so what they did is they went out and created all of these really awesome vines, and each of the vines illustrated a fun science project. So this one is showing how you can use the sugar in potatoes to turn on a light bulb. I think we all remember doing this in science class when we were in like 5th grade, and it was the coolest thing ever. And all these years later, it's still pretty cool. So they went through and produced a handful of these. They seeded them on Vine. They embedded them in some RebelMouse pages that they put into their website. And again, 6 seconds tells a pretty cool story. I think again, it's reminding us that you don't need, in a lot of cases, long form copy to tell the story if the visuals are really powerful. So we love what G's been doing. Another brand that's using Vine really well is Lowe's. This is an example of a campaign they launched called Fix in 6. And the concept here is that, give me a home improvement challenge or home maintenance challenge, and I'll show you how to fix it in 6 seconds. So, here's one: when life gives you water stains, use lemons. Who knew you could use lemons to clean the hard water stains off your chrome, but looks like you can do it. Another example is, how to clean your brushes, how to avoid bent bristles. So as much as the imagery tells the story, they clearly had a message that they wanted to get across. And so, having a really clear message that you want to articulate through the visuals is another kind of tip. Before you go into the visual element, you want to make sure, in a way, you're almost storyboarding it. And I'm sure, GE probably did this, Lowe's probably did this, where they storyboarded out what they wanted the Vine video to be, and looked at it in the same type of production manner that they might a longer form video. So the fun thing is, these are awesome images, and obviously Lowe's and GE have lots of resources to go out and produce this kind of original content. But what about people like, you and me that just want to put some GIFs up in a post about the holidays or something? How do we find these GIFs? So I wanted to just kind of walk you through some of our favorite sources. Of course, everyone remembers the twerk heard around the world. And, this is just kind of an example, but, Tumblr is actually a great resource for GIFs. And they have a way that you can search basically any image that was tagged with the keywords that you're looking for on Tumblr. And so what they do is they give you this search result that's also incredibly visual. So, here's a bunch of GIFs of Miley doing her thing. I think this one with the chicken might be one of my favorite. It's kind of hilarious. But, things like this you can pull out and then use as an image link. Another one is something that we use a lot, and we love these guys. It's a site called Giphy. And Giphy is unique in the sense that they've actually partnered with Facebook and Twitter so that you can embed these GIFs into your posts. So this is something that, for a while there, if you tried to put a GIF into a tweet or a GIF into a Facebook post, you would just have a link that would, people would have to click through the link to get out to look at the image. But now, with Giphy, they've actually made it so you can embed the GIF itself. So Giphy is a great resource. They have that trending list that you saw on the front page. You can also just type, what are you looking for, and they give you great visual search results. And then, embedding it is as simple as choosing which platform you want to put it on, and just clicking for the share copy, and it'll share right out. So, for example, when you share this out, this link will actually be read just like any other picture or image link in Twitter, and it'll show up as a card in your post. So play around with it, to test out how it appears. But it's a nice way to get that image associated with your post. And, you can, again, use it as storytelling, even in something as simple as a Twitter post. So, something like this might inspire you to say, where's my lunch? He's looking for something clearly. Maybe he's looking for lunch. I don't know. So Giphy, we love them as resources. Another great resource, believe it or not, is just straight up Google image searches. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just type in whatever I'm looking for, and I'll bring it back as an image result and just click on images, and you'll start to see what they might have. So here's all the images, but it looks like they've actually got a category for animated GIF, and you can see, you can view all the images, you can click into one, and it'll actually preview the image for you there. So you can decide, is that the one that you want? This is pretty funny. I guess I should warn you that once you start using GIFs in your communications, you're going to spend a lot of time on the internet looking for these GIFs, and you're going to find the most random things, and that's actually part of the fun. So here's an example of a GIF. A lot of times what I'll do is, if I like it, I'll just click on the view image, and then this is the code that I copy. So this address is the image hosted at this particular site. And so now this GIF becomes portable. So if I copy and paste this link into a post, it'll now show up in that post as part of my page. So that's just kind of a really simple way to use these kinds of searches. And again, Google we love. They're great because they always have so much that you can pull from. And a lot of times it's just as a matter of, just like you would do any other kind of search, you type in what you're looking for, the keywords, and then you look at the results until you find the thing that you want. So that's pretty cute. And you'll see it. That's actually really funny. I like this a lot. So you'll see that it's a combination of static GIFs and animated GIFs. And so a lot of times it's just up to you to click on it and preview it. So that's just kind of a little way that we look for GIFs and we find things. To go back to what we were doing, I thought it would be fun in the last few minutes of the webinar is actually use RebelMouse to create a post that uses GIFs. So kind of bringing all the things together. So I came up with this fun potential post. The topic is what if social networks had personalities, right? Because we think about social networks as so much a part of our lives. They could easily be friends around a table. But if they were real people, what would their personality be like? I thought this could be fun because, again, the kinds of copy that associate with images seem to match really well with either emotions or reactions. That's the kind of stuff that you can search for pretty easily to make the connection between the visual and what you're trying to communicate. So the post that we're going to set up is if social networks had personalities, and then we can just pick and choose the social networks that we want to feature. So the first thing that we do is just go into our RebelMouse page, and we're going to set up. Oops, let me make sure I'm logged in. We're going to set up a blog post. So let's go into my personal page so that we can make sure we're sharing it in our site. So to do this, the first thing I'm going to do is just click Add Post, and that's going to open up the template for the original content post. And so I can start it off by just saying, what my headline was. So my headline was, if social networks had personalities. And hopefully I spelled that right. So you'll see over here on the left, it's actually starting to preview my post. So I can say something really funny like, what if Facebook was a person? Just to kind of set it up. So now the next thing we can do is do this thing called add media. So the idea here is that we can attach an image to associate with our copy. So if our first post is going to be about Facebook, then, I just kind of want to brainstorm, what if Facebook was a person? What would it be like? So totally subjective. Don't judge me on how I'm describing Facebook. But maybe I think Facebook is like my mom. Because right now, I think mostly my mom and her friends are on Facebook. So you can either just start off by doing a simple search like animated GIF mom and see what comes back. Or if there's a famous mom that you think about, like here's the mom from Family Guy, maybe Marge Simpson is the mom. Oh, this is pretty funny. Let's see what we got here. Evolution of mom dancing. This actually is kind of funny. So just for the sake of time, I think I'm going to use this. So my concept of Facebook, if Facebook had a personality, it kind of might be like your mom dancing. So now we go back into the post. So I copied that URL from the page. Now we go back into the post, add it. So I just copied and pasted it. I added it. And now I'm going to say Facebook is kind of like my mom dancing. And then there's the image. So you can see it populated the GIF. It's obviously playing in real time. It's not, having to click on it to play it. It's playing right there. And when I post it, so I can continue to do this. So let's do another one. So let's do LinkedIn, because I think that's an easy one, because LinkedIn is kind of like your business suit. So let's see. We can either do business suit, animated GIF, or if there's a famous businessman that you think of. Oh, that's kind of scary. It's actually sometimes scary what you get back. Maybe we get a Mad Men back. Mad Men has some fun animated GIFs out there. Oh, poor Don. Maybe Don is our GIF. Let's see. All right, we're just going to put this in because it's fun. So again, all I'm doing is I'm copying that image. I'm going back to my blog post. I'm going to add it. Oops, I'm going to add it right here because I want it to be in order. And then we'll say LinkedIn helps you deal with work. Now you'll see when I added it, it actually added above. If I want the Facebook one to be first, I can just move it. And then we'll save it. So now you can see my GIFs are appearing. So let's post this for fun, just so we can see it. So now you see it just published to my page. There's my headline, if social networks had personalities, just a little description of what it is. And you can see the animation actually plays in the main page too. So if you're trying to draw attention to your post, GIFs are a great way to do it. Because again, when people are scanning, this totally jumps out. So when I click on that, here's my post. And as you can see, you just keep going and creating as many as you want, but it's super simple. And I think it's kind of fun. So hopefully, this gave you a little overview of how to tell stories with GIFs. We have some tips in the deck here that we'll share on the blog today, and the recording of this webinar will also be available. And we hope you enjoyed it, and hope that you got something out of it. But thanks again for joining. And I know we ran out of time for questions, but if anyone has questions, feel free to shoot us a tweet, or you can email me, Andrea at RebelMouse, and we can talk more. But as the slide says, go forth and GIF. Thanks, everybody.